TikTok time to rock. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everyone who's watching from all over the world. We got some clips that we haven't seen, and we just we just heard like the first 2 seconds of it. Oh man, we were laughing. That's funny stuff. Let's see. You see, Allah has delayed the stream. This is because he's so powerful. Hey, how's everyone going, man? How's everyone doing?
What's up? What's up?
How you been doing, Jai?
I'm good. I'm good. Elijah, you heard of Elijah before?
Yeah, dude. See, look, man. If we were Dawa guys, we'd see like guys like Elijah coming along. We'd be like, "Oh crap! Oh no! Now we're not going to be famous anymore because these young guys are going to be more popular than us." But, yeah, I've been saying it for years. You had old people like me, and 20 years ago, we had to figure out things. And then YouTube came along, and we had to figure. I didn't know how to use a camera. I didn't know how to use a mic. You go to my early videos, it was just a dumb camcorder. I didn't even have a microphone. I mean, there's a microphone on the camcorder, which is on the other side of the room recording me. Sound sucks, all kinds of background noise. Why? I didn't know what I was doing. Didn't know anything about lighting, cameras, mics, none of that. Didn't know computers, didn't know YouTube, didn't know social media. Had to figure all that stuff out. But I was saying once we all started making stuff, I said, this next generation's going to come along, and they're not going to have to look. They're going to be raised in this stuff. They're not going to have to learn all this stuff when they're already old and it's really hard. It's going to be completely normal to them. They're going to grow up in this stuff, and they get to build on what everyone who came before them has done, and they're going to do everything better because they don't have to learn everything from the ground up. And then all of a sudden, you got GodLogic, you got all these young bucks, man, coming along, all these young bucks, and they're crushing it, man. They're just crushing it. And Elijah's he's cool. He's kind of like Avery, and a matter of fact, even more so. He'll just be like I don't know. He's just like really cracking up, laughing. Like Avery's always happy and smiling as he's wrecking and destroying someone, but I don't know, man. Elijah will just be like cracking up, laughing, because it's funny. It's funny. It's funny watching him dismantle people. Matter of fact, just so everyone knows what I'm talking about here. Here's from his.
We'll give it a clip.
Yeah, here's from his debate with Cora, which we have seen. So, guys, we're going to check out. Someone sent us some clips of Elijah. I haven't seen those yet. Only saw like the first 2 seconds as I was making sure I had the video, and we both cracked up laughing. He was asking Liviana, "Dude, are you sweating? Are you sweating?" So that was funny. But we're going to check out those clips. I haven't seen those yet. We're going to check out Elijah's section of the 10v1 debate with Sheikh Uthman because Vocab. I asked Vocab because Sheikh Uthman debated Vocab, Avery, Sig, bunch of people. Bell, Anita debated a bunch of people. But I asked Vocab, "Hey, who are you like?" Who did you like best? And he said Elijah, and he said it was also short. He said Elijah just stepped in there, crushed him, and left.
He did what he did. He went in. He went in. Actually, do you see Christian Godfly? Christian Godfly he wrote a song about it.
Oh, really? Oh, that's awesome.
He wrote a song. It was actually the stream that me and you did with Vocab. He did a stream on it, and it's actually I think it's probably, I don't know if it's, you know how YouTube is with songs. I don't know if you want to check it out. Like while one of these clips are playing, you can see if it's playable or not. But it's really funny. So basically, Elijah, he went in and he did the thing, and he did it. He did his job, and he left. Like he wasn't like, he didn't stay for dessert after. He just like did what he had to do, and he left. It was great. We actually Anthony Rogers and myself, we covered that one. I think we covered all the other ones with you. No, we did it with GodLogic as well. But then we did all the other ones with you. So yeah. But the one that we didn't do on this channel, which is what we'll do today, we covered this with Anthony, and it was a great breakdown. He went into all like the arguments and kind of flesh it out some more. But Elijah did his thing. Elijah, shout out to Elijah.
Yeah,
And one thing I really like about Elijah is I've noticed that he's very humble guy, and he tries to promote his friends too, like people that are like, like he's just come, like I think he's got like 40,000 subscribers just because after this debate he like went like skyrocketed. Maybe he's got more. I don't know. I gotta check what the exact sub count is, but he is someone who's like trying to help his friends, trying to help people come up. And like as soon as he had the opportunity to help, he's like, I'm gonna help. All right, I help. So I like that humility, and then he's got good knowledge, solid knowledge, and it's gonna be really a blessing to see him grow and to see what he does.
yes, it will. It'll be awesome and epic, and I'm liking what I'm hearing about Elijah. I just wanted to add his channel to the
Yeah.
description here. Let me get that up. I had to go find his channel. But nope, he's sounding good. He's sounding really good. If he's
Yep.
already
46K.
if
Sorry
he's
about that. 46K. I gotta put the respect on. Oh, 46K subs. That's what he's at right now. So last I checked, he was at 40. Now he's at 46K subscribers. So yeah, he's really, really doing his thing, and he's it's a blessing to watch him grow, and I'm excited to see where he goes.
all right. Just make sure that works in the. Sometimes when I put the channel link in the description, it just has the text of it and not the actual like
Yeah, I know
clickable
what you're
link and
saying.
stuff. I don't know if that happens to everyone or
Oh
just
no,
me or
yeah,
something.
you got it. It's clickable. I can click it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So Elijah's super cool. And guys, matter of fact, let's just go ahead and watch the clip that we've seen before. There's another clip we've seen when we were going through the Malik stuff when so Malik showed up to the church because he wanted to thug out and he was trying to be like GodLogic and stuff, like when GodLogic shows up in a bus. But GodLogic actually shows up there, hangs out outside, asks for the debate, asks to debate Sheikh Uthman because Sheikh Uthman invited him. Then they don't let him in and stuff like that. Whereas so Malik tried to be like that, and then he's outside, but he's live on TikTok, and then one guy walks out of the church, Elijah. To find, dude, where are you? He walks out. Malik bolts down the road like half a mile, then goes around a corner and hides, and says it was 30. It was 30 of them. 30 of them came at me like, dude, you literally filmed it. It was live. You were live filming it, and there was one dude there, and he runs back and he's screaming, "There's 30 of them. There's 30 of them are attacking me," and then they all declare war on Elijah. They're like, hey, when he was walking across the street, he kind of pulled up his pants. That means he was about to beat up Malik. It's like, you dumb cowards, man. Bunch of cowards.
Yeah. And he had like jump on. We have that clip, right? We're gonna play that because he had like jump on Malik's live on.
No, we're not gonna watch the Malik stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll be doing that on Malik
he
Day.
jumped. He had to jump on his live and we're like, dude, where are like he is so far away. He had to jump on his live on TikTok and be like, where are you? he drove like down the highway or something like that. It's like.
Yeah. So, and then they all declare war on Elijah, and they're like, "Oh yeah, if he came at me like that, I would do this and this and this and that." Like, okay, well maybe you would have, but we know how Malik responds. He bolts down the street, goes around corners, ducking and hiding.
Yeah.
And then where y'all at? Where y'all at? Well, everyone is at the church. You were hiding around the corner like a dork. But anyway, so. Yeah, we've seen that in the past, but we also watched this little short clip of him versus Korah. When Korah was saying that Allah is not omnipotent.
Oh yeah.
And Elijah just realized, wait a minute, everything you're saying, that sounds like a regular dude, man. That sounds like me, and that's your God. Let's go ahead and check out this clip because it's short.
Speaking of Malik, she was under his tutelage, so I mean that might be credit to him for her mess up there.
Great job, Malik. Korah believes that Allah is not omnipotent, but let's go ahead and check this out.
Omnipotence, right?
Of course not.
Okay, but his omnipotence is not identical to his omniscience, right?
No.
Okay, so
And
these
by the way,
things.
God is not omnipotent, just to clarify.
I'm gonna back this up because I haven't seen I don't know what I don't know what the context is. It sounds like he's trying to point out that there are distinctions even within Allah. So if you have a problem with God being a trinity, God being one in essence or nature, but more than one in person, if you're going to say, no, that means multiple gods, well, Allah's attributes aren't identical to each other. So Allah's wrath, for instance, his wrath or justice is not the same thing as his mercy. And you've got the hadith where his mercy triumphs over his wrath. So his attributes are actually in conflict. And one triumphs over the other. One actually wins against the other. So the point is that the attributes are not the same thing. So Allah is one in essence or nature. He's more than one in attribute. Do Muslims say, well, he's got 99 names corresponding to different attributes, therefore he's 99 separate gods? No, they understand that you have got the level of essence or nature and you've got the level of attribute. I'm guessing that's what this was about, but I'm not sure. But let me.
I also caught something here too. You know how you say like when people mispronounce words, it's usually because they read not like they're reading it, not like they're not hearing it. She does that here. It seemed like she got a text, and someone maybe that was Malik who told her, because she says, "By the way," which means
that's why
like,
she's on her phone. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's on that. She got the phone right there.
No, I think this is I'm not. No, but oh yeah, I don't know if that's a real one. Is that really? I don't know.
Is that a picture? Or is she moving? Hang on. Oh no, that's a picture.
No,
That's a
I
picture.
think that's before she went on camera. This is before she went on camera.
Okay.
So but what she says, because she pronounces she says omnipotent. That's what she So so listen to how she says it, and it seems like she's reading it.
Okay, so someone's telling her something, sending her text or something like this, telling her to say stuff, but she doesn't understand what she's saying. But she gives a description of Allah, and Elijah thinks it's pretty funny, as do all of us. Let's see.
Omnipotence, right?
Of course not.
Okay, but his omnipotence is not identical to his omniscience, right?
No.
Okay, so
And by
these
the way,
things.
God is not omnipotent, just to clarify. A better example I would give would be like omniscience and, I don't know, like power in this instance. Being
She doesn't know what she's saying.
Yeah, she says.
Someone texted her that.
Yeah, she said, Allah's not omnipotent.
Yeah.
So I think a better example would be Allah's power. Okay, that's what omnipotent
No,
is.
that's what I'm saying. She mispronounced it, so I'm thinking someone texted it to her. Someone texted it to her because she
Oh, yeah.
probably just read it off the.
That's what I mean. I'm pointing out that she didn't know what the heck she didn't know what the word means. So yeah, someone's giving her the word. Say Allah is not omnipotent, and she's going, "Hey, Allah is not omnipotent." Yeah. So a better example would be Allah's power. Well, yeah, omnipotence means all powerful. So if you actually know what the word means and you're denying it, then you could still use Allah's power as an example, because you're talking about attributes. But she'd be saying that Allah's attribute of power, it's not, he doesn't have all power. He doesn't have the power to do anything that's, that can possibly be done. So according to Cora, what she's saying here, Allah not omnipotent, but you can still talk about his attribute of power. But let me back this up a little.
a better example I would give would be like omniscience and, I don't know, like power in this instance. Being all-knowing and being...
We've got omnizutant. Come on, quit interrupting me, guys. I'm going to back it up again just because it's short. Here we go.
Right?
Of course not.
Okay, but his omnipotence is not identical to his omniscience, right?
No.
Okay, so
And by
these
the way,
things.
God is not omnipotent, just to clarify. A better example I would give would be like omniscience and,
Omnipotent.
I don't know, like power in this instance. Being all-knowing and being the most powerful.
So God's spatial, he's temporal, he's mutable, and he's not omnipotent.
Okay, so no, God is not omnipotent. He's omniscient. I believe that God is spatio-temporal, and I also believe that God is immutable.
It's funny, they're crossing off attributes on the screen. They're crossing off attributes, which is just it's just a list. Scholarly sources list numerous attributes of God, often categorized as incommunicable, unique to God, and it gives a list, and then as Korah's denying them, it's marking them off the list.
He's omniscient. I believe that God is spatio-temporal, And I also believe that God is immutable if what you mean by immutability in this case is essential change or being changed by another.
You got me.
And again,
You
you've
got
yet
me.
to prove, and
You got me.
I got you there.
You got me. Woo! You got me. That God crazy. Woo! You got me.
You got baked though.
Man, hey,
got baked, though.
bake,
You got baked, though.
bake me. Bake me.
You're hearing this, guys? She denies a bunch of the attributes of God, saying those don't. Allah doesn't have those attributes, and she's saying, "You got baked. You got baked." Check this out.
Bake me. Bake me,
You
man.
got baked.
Yep, you got a God that's spatial, temporal, changes, and not omnipotent. You got me.
You got baked.
You got me. Go ahead.
You got baked.
Go ahead. Take that
It's
one.
okay, but my God isn't
Take that one.
My God isn't omnipotent. My God.
Take that one. Hey, all the Muslims in here, I just want y'all to remember, your God is spatial, so he limited. He temporal. He changes. He's mutable, and he not all powerful. Go ahead, y'all got it. Y'all got it, bro. We're not even talking about God no more. What are we talking about? We're not even talking about God. What do I need to defeat? Yeah, I got her to concede that she just believe in a created being. That's just a created dude. Everything that I just listed about Allah, that's me. I'm spatial, I'm temporal, I'm mutable, and I'm not omnipotent. That's literally me.
Oh man, classic
Yeah, that's classic.
Elijah. This came up. Last night. I was live over on Hatun's channel, and we are watching some of Avery's debate versus that Quran only Muslim when he was saying that Allah is a male. Allah is male, but he's not a man. And Avery's like, what do you mean he's a male? But he's male? He's like, yeah. You know, like a lobster can be male, but it's not a man. And the guy gives all examples of something being male.
Oh, it's like I have a hand and you have a hand, but it's not like it's like one of those things. Like
No. He was just saying you can be male without being a man. That's correct, right? You could be a male dog, right? That doesn't mean you're a man, even though you're male. Right. But he's giving all like biological examples. He's like a lobster. A lobster can be male. It doesn't mean he's a man. And it's like, wait a minute. But like saying that an organism is male, that means certain things, like biologically. And if you're saying that your God is male, what's that mean? Like for human beings, it means, testosterone and testicles and XY chromosome, things like that. What does it mean for God to be male? It's saying something about like his parts and stuff. And the guy even said, God's physical. God's a physical being somewhere. So God's physical. And but anyway, the example with Elijah came up because I was saying, when this guy's talking about Allah not being omniscient, not being omnipresent and so on, he's a physical being in a specific place and stuff like that. It starts like, well, this is starting to sound like a lobster, man. A lobster has all the features that you're using to describe your God. And here you have Elijah saying, it sounds like a regular created dude. And all of Korah's descriptions of Allah would also apply to Elijah or to a lobster. And that's the state of Dawa in 2026, guys. Crazy stuff.
Apparently, so this is before Korah did her, I guess you can't call it a face reveal, but the niqab reveal, whatever you want to call it, before she did that. So this is apparently like he had this clip for a while, but it wasn't until she did the Dr. Daft thing and kind of had her, according to, what does Malik call it? A one-hit wonder. And she did that. And then that's when it got like repopularized. It just like happened. He didn't even like intentionally, he didn't do anything. It just, the internet did its thing. They found stuff on Korah and he's like, hey, that's my clip. And it was so, yeah, this blew back up and, Korah did her thing and, she exposed what her God is.
All right. So what should we've got two things we want to watch, guys. This shouldn't be a I don't want to say this isn't going to be a tremendously long live stream because every time I say that, it ends up being 6 hours and so on. But we have the short section of his debate with Sheikh Uthman, and then those clips. What should we check out first, Jay?
What's that Libiano one you said?
Yeah.
The Libiano one. I think I think that one's shorter. We should go over that one. Plus that one, I think that will be new to a lot of people as well.
Yeah, because new to me, and the beginning was really funny. Hang on.
Then I asked you, what does God pick out? You said the divine.
Are you
nature.
sweating?
So
That's funny. Are you? That's funny.
He's hilarious. Man. He's just funny. Man. He's a funny guy.
Libiana trying to lay out a point. Are you sweating? And it totally I can already tell.
It messes up his train of thought and everything.
I was trying to make a point, man. Now I'm thinking about the fact that I'm sweating. Let's take these first couple of super chats real quick, and then we'll watch this. Let's see. Now we know it wasn't AP's fault. You just forced him to say it was him because us others be losing track of time. Can't believe you do that. Well, you are a psycho. We need justice for AP after all these years. Actually,
you were telling me about that before the stream started. Actually,
yeah, right before we started, I was blaming AP. I was like, I never used to be late. It was just like AP was always late, so we'd be late for the live stream. But even if the live stream was on my channel, I knew he was going to be 5 to 10 minutes late. So I just got used to being 5 to 10 minutes late. Anyway, guys, the point here is those
always
Turks,
blame
those Turks ruin everything, and it's always their fault. Hi, D Wood and Jai. Let's remember Elijah's quote of the year. That's just a created dude. Everything I just heard about Allah, that's me. That's legend status right there.
That's good stuff.
And yeah, guys, again, the link to Elijah's channel is in the description. Be sure to subscribe because he's putting out some good stuff. Got the super sticker there. Thank you. Then we have this one. There's a guy on Twitter who's saying you don't actually believe what you say about Muhammad. Oh, I absolutely believe. I mean, sometimes I'm joking when I say things, but the arguments I use against Muhammad, no, I believe those. And being disingenuous on purpose, and apparently you debate people on the subjects you're just putting on a show. I tagged you in it if you want to see. Yeah, I can check that.
How would some guy on Twitter know that anyway?
Yeah.
Who is it?
I have seen them. Like Jake brought it up, and then I saw like Fareed had posted. They seem to be completely misunderstanding something when I say that if you could prove this is from God, I would have to drop my objection. If I have an argument against you or something doesn't make sense, and I count that as evidence against you, God could tell me, David, you're just wrong. And so I point out, hey, we bring up all these problems with Muhammad that count as evidence against him. Well, if God actually said, well, too bad, he's a prophet anyway, I'd have to say, oh, okay, well, he's a prophet. My arguments do not show that he's a false prophet because God has declared that he's a prophet. So they're interpreting this as I don't have any real problems with him. I just don't believe he's a prophet. No, I believe there are all kinds of problems with Muhammad. Tons of things, tons of things that count as evidence against him. With that said, if God were here and said, hey, your arguments against Muhammad, that he thought he was demon possessed and he tried to hurl himself off a cliff and the satanic verses and he thought he was demon. I mean, he's claimed to be the victim of black magic and all the moral problems and all his arguments why he's a prophet that are beyond stupid, like the dumbest case that anyone has ever made for being a prophet. Like all of these things, guess what? If God showed up and said, David, you're wrong about all this stuff, okay, then I would be wrong. I even used the example when I was debating Jake. I was like, okay, I believe we're all in here having a debate right now. Is it possible I'm wrong? Yes, I could be, I could be dreaming. I could be in the Matrix. It could be all kinds of things. You don't believe those things because they're massively improbable. But if God showed up and said, actually, David, you're in a simulation right now, okay, if I knew it was actually God and not just like my imagination or something, if I actually knew it was God and God was telling me, hey, you're in a simulation right now, I was like, okay, well, I'm not actually in this room debating. So anyway, I kind of make that point that if God, let me put it this way. There are so many problems with Muhammad, and the arguments in favor of him are so stupid that in order to overwhelm those problems, it would take something like God telling me, David, you're just wrong about all this stuff. I'm making a point about, like, you've got this mountain of evidence against this guy, nothing that I see that supports him. It would take something pretty amazing and spectacular to say, nope, actually, he's a prophet. And so I acknowledge that, and they say, oh, what David is saying is he doesn't believe in any of his arguments. He's just saying he doesn't believe in Muhammad. No.
It's like the opposite. You're saying the exact opposite.
Yeah, it would require God to tell me that this guy's actually a prophet. Anyway, so yeah, there's a bunch of. Anyway, I don't know if that's what Goku here is referring to, but I've seen them arguing that recently. David doesn't believe any of this stuff, and it's just annoying.
Yeah, I've seen like them say about the like Azut stuff as well, and I know like at the beginning, people probably were thinking like, yeah, this is probably like a little crazy interpretation. Whereas like the more you look into it, the more convinced you are that it actually is the way to understand what's going on there. It's like, and so I know people have brought that up as well. And that's just an example of like, being, learning more, having more evidence and making a more conclusive, oh yeah. It was also like saying like, oh yeah, we're going to be not give like the most charitable interpretations of things because of what you guys are doing. So it's not that we're going to lie, but we're not going to be as charitable with interpretations. But it just so happens that even if you are being charitable with interpretations, that things just look really bad in Islam.
Yeah. So that's one of the main examples. It's where at the end of the day, the Muslim sources are so weird. I can't always tell exactly it sounds like something really bad and sick and creepy and perverted is going on. That's what it sounds like. Normally it would be, oh, okay, maybe it's talking about something else. Maybe this, maybe that. We just like, I can't say by nature, but just like we tend to be charitable with giving the benefit of the doubt. Oh, there's this other interpretation. Oh, okay. Well, I'm, maybe that other interpretation is correct, even if it's not what the text sounds like. But if these guys are just going to flat out lie, okay, then don't think that we're going to give these charitable interpretations of these passages that sound like really weird and creepy, like the Muhammad and the Night of Al-Zut. So anyway, that's what's going on there. But yeah, so I'm not sure what they're referring to, but they always misunderstand everything and then misuse it. Allah only made it appear as if D-Wood was late. This is the proof, don't you see? Yes. Allah did that. One of our brothers in Pakistan is being charged with waging war with Pakistan and apparently mocking Momo. His name is John from J and Tech Channel. Huh.
Okay.
If he's getting charged, that is, if you mean actually legally charged, that's bad because that's Pakistan. Yo, David, on Nuxanor last stream, he had a question about Christianity and said he'd liked some good apologists to explain it to him and gave you as an example. Oh,
nice.
Yeah, Nuxanor can join us sometime. That dude's hilarious. And his reactions are hilarious. D. Wood, why are you still on the floor? Has your desk not recovered from an interaction with AP? No, you can still see the desk back there. It's flipped over because AP tried standing on it, flipped over. Anyway, sad things. Oddly enough, part of the delay right now is Luke spraining his ankle, trying to be like inspiring philosophy. My son Luke, on this recent conference trip, Seek and Share Truth, inspiring philosophy. Mike Jones was jumping down entire flights of stairs to show off, and so Luke wanted to show that he could do the same thing. But inspiring philosophy weighs like 130 pounds, and Luke weighs like 250. And so when he did it, he actually hit like the last step. And anyway, he's not. He can walk a little, but he has this big boot that they gave him, the big boot that they put on him. Anyway, the point is, my son can no longer hang out with inspiring philosophy because IP is a bad influence on him and makes him injure himself.
If someone is saying that that guy was a convert at GodLogic stream, I think they're saying the Pakistani guy that they were just referring to.
Oh yeah.
Maybe you guys can let us know in the chat. I'll check it out. Yeah.
ADHDers, sorry, should have capitalized. Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't know what that word was earlier. Okay, that makes sense now. Just sub to Elijah Johnson. Elijah Johnson. He should make a channel. Yeah, hey, he should make a channel called Elijah, since the way they describe Allah, they're basically describing Elijah Johnson. David is the sunshine stealer. Watch out, Jai. Yeah, Jai, make me steal all your sunshine. All right, you ready to check this out?
Let's do it.
Here we go, guys.
Let's find out why Libiano is sweating.
Why you sweating? Why you sweating, Libiano? Huh? Why you sweating? Here we go.
Then I asked you, what does God pick out? You said the divine.
Are you
nature.
sweating?
So did you make a mistake there?
Why are you sweating?
I'm sweating so hard, man. Did you make a mistake
Why
there,
are you
Elijah?
sweating, bro? It's
Elijah,
a simple conversation.
Elijah, don't run away from the
Right
question,
before I
Elijah.
came up here, you said it shouldn't
Elijah,
be this hard for
Elijah.
people to defend Christianity. Proportionate satisfaction must be equivalent in weight to the
Oh, so I think
wrong
it's
that it
going-
repays.
What's that?
This is the argument now. Okay, so I think that was like a highlight of like the funny part, and
That's
now it's
funny.
like saying this is what the argument, the lead up was. Okay.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna back it up a little so we get the argument, and then we'll understand why Orthoduck Lips is sweating. I didn't even know ducks sweat. Anyway.
It shouldn't be
Elijah,
this hard for
Elijah.
people to defend Christianity. Proportionate satisfaction must be equivalent in weight to the wrong that it repays. The wrong of sin has infinite weight from conclusion 2. Therefore, proportionate satisfaction of sin requires an act of infinite efficacy. Every purely created act is finite in itself. A finite act cannot be equivalent to the injury of an infinite weight. Therefore, no creature can offer proportionate satisfaction for sin. An act of infinite efficacy can only flow from an infinite person. The only God is infinite, obviously. Therefore, only God can perform an act of infinite efficacy capable of proportionate satisfaction. Satisfaction, so we could just stop
So-
there.
So sounds like they're talking about whether Jesus can pay the price for the sins of others there, and Elijah's pointing out that would take something infinite.
Yeah, and you know, I'm remembering something. There's going to be a common theme between this and then the Uthman interaction. We'll see what it is. Yeah, common theme.
Perform an
I
act
backed it up a little.
of infinite efficacy capable of proportionate satisfaction. Satisfaction, so we could just stop there.
So in simpler terms, just for the audience, God needs an infinite sacrifice to atone.
What?
Can I finish? You need you need an infinite sacrifice to atone for a sin against an infinite being with infinite dignity, right?
You say you need? Yeah, so
God, because he's of so infinite dignity, a mere finite creature cannot give him a satisfactory sacrifice. Therefore, you need somebody who is infinite to give somebody who's infinite an infinite sacrifice to atone for sin.
I never said anything about sacrifices.
Okay, so you need somebody infinite to atone for somebody infinite.
Or not for somebody infinite. No. So when you wrong someone, the weight of your wrong is dependent upon the dignity of the person. God is infinite, so the weight of your wrong is infinite. So for you to pay for your debt, right, you need to offer something infinite, pretty much.
Oh yeah,
But
I like
you-
this argument. This I can't remember which popular preacher used this illustration. He said he got it from one of his friends, and he said like basically like this guy's in the taxi and he's explaining the gospel to I think it was a Muslim taxi driver, and he goes, you know, he's like, if I slap you, what's going to happen? And he's like, well, I'll just like stop the taxi and kick you out of the taxi. And he goes, okay, if you slap your, you know, I forget the complete illustration, but it's like something like, okay, if you slap your brother, what's going to happen? Well, he probably like slap me back. Okay. Well, if you slap a police officer, what's going to happen? Well, I'm going to get arrested. okay, if you slap like, the king of the country, oh, then I'm going to lose my head. So it's like you're doing the same crime, but who you're committing the crime against determines the punishment of the crime. So the idea is like if you sin against an infinite God, the punishment has an infinite punishment. It's an infinite punishment. So it's like if I sinned against you, it's like, we could hash that out or whatever. But like if I'm sinning against someone of an authority position like that, like a police officer or like a king or president, like I could end up in prison for doing the same action. It's just like an act of slapping or something like that. But so God, sin against God, you get an infinite punishment for that. So there needs to be a payment for that.
I'm just saying, Jai, don't even be thinking about slapping me, dude. Don't even be think about that. Here we go.
Finite. So
Okay.
because
I got you.
God,
I got you.
so wait. Because God is just, as you agreed, God requires the satisfaction of all debts, pretty much all wrongs.
Okay, I got you. Beautiful. So let me just grant that for a second. Okay. Can you
Okay.
show me? Can you show me that set up in the Old System or in the Old Testament?
Yeah, bro. The fact that
Mhm.
the blood of bulls and goats and finite things doesn't actually atone for sin.
It doesn't atone for sin. Where does the Old Testament say that?
Yeah, God doesn't delight in those things.
God doesn't delight.
No.
Sorry, hold on, Elijah. You said that God does not accept sin offerings from animals.
What? No. Where are you
Okay.
getting this
So
from?
you just said in order to have your sin done against an infinite being forgiven, you need an infinite offering or an infinite act of forgiveness, right?
Brother, first of all, I'm giving you an argument based on
Lord
reason.
have mercy. Right.
And
I just
no,
said-
that's not what I said.
So Elijah, you're all over the place. Elijah, just remember, I granted you it, okay? Let's say your reasoning follows.
Okay,
Your
cool.
conclusion follows
Okay.
from the set of premises. Let's grant that for a second. Even if your conclusion follows from the set of premises, it does not mean that's what is taught in the Old Testament. Do you understand? So can you show that your valid and sound argument is what the Old Testament considers?
Brother, if first of all, that wouldn't even be a requirement. If you're already granting me this argument,
No. So again,
So the
Hey, that's-
stream is about arguments for Christianity.
Yeah.
Now he's saying, that's so. Just
Well,
to be clear,
that's-
the stream is about Christians present arguments for Christianity. He comes in, gives an argument. He's like, okay, I'll give it to you. Oh, well, that's it then. That's the debate.
No, yeah, so that's funny. So, so Orthoduclip says, okay, I'll grant you all of that. Now show that in the Old Testament. Like, wait, if you granted it, then the argument follows, right? You just granted it.
Exactly.
You granted the argument. Okay, I give you an argument. But that would be, yeah, so I guess Libiano is saying, show me where the Old Testament says that, when not even realize, well, what was the point of a new covenant then? What was the point of a new covenant? If that system could act, then that's the point of Hebrews, which Elijah is quoting there. That's the point of Hebrews is, of that part of Hebrews is that none of those sacrifices do away with sin, or you wouldn't have needed more and more sacrifices over and over again. You needed one sacrifice that deals with everything in order to do that, and then you don't need the sacrifices anymore. But yeah, if you grant everything he just said, if you granted all the premises of his argument, showing a verse stating all of that from the Old Testament is irrelevant. Anyway, let's see.
Brother, first of all, that wouldn't even be a requirement. If you're already granting me this argument, saying
no. So again, Elijah, pay attention. Just because you could, you're cutting out, brother. So pay attention. Just because I'm granting that your argument is valid and sound, it doesn't mean. Are you okay, brother?
if you're granting that it's sound, you're saying that it's
Guys, okay, guys. A valid argument means that the conclusion follows from the premises. It doesn't mean that the premises are true, right? It's just if the first premise were true and if the second premise were true and the conclusion would follow necessarily from those premises, then the argument is valid. You say an argument is sound. An argument is sound when the logic is valid and the premises are true. So if Libiano just granted the validity and soundness of the argument, he just granted that the premises are true and the logic is valid. Well, guess what? Then you've just granted the conclusion that follows. So what are you even talking about now? What are you even objecting to? You have to. The point is, you have to object to one of the premises, or say that the logic isn't valid, or both. You have to do. You have to do. If you're rejecting the conclusion, you have to show that it's based on at least one false premise, or that the logic is not valid. If you're granting validity and soundness, you just granted the argument, dude. You granted the conclusion. What are you even arguing about at this point? Let me back this up. This is weird, man.
It doesn't mean. Are you okay, brother?
If you're granting that it's sound, you're saying that it's true, which means that Christianity is true and you're cooked.
No, it
Appreciate
doesn't.
you, gang.
That's why I'm
Appreciate you, bro. God bless you.
Are you gonna listen or are you gonna run away?
Hey, man, you spreading the gospel every day. You go ahead and do that. You just
Elijah?
proved Christianity true. Amen, bro.
Are you gonna run away,
I appreciate you. You was a good
Are
interlocutor,
you,
bro.
are you gonna run away, Elijah?
Run away? You just said, hey, everything that you said is true. But cool. What that mean about Christianity? What are you talking about? If you knew the words that you was actually saying, you wouldn't have said such things.
I said I was granting it for argument's sake, Elijah, and you cut me off in the middle of explaining.
Then you granted the entire argument for the sake of argument. What are you objecting to then? This would be like me in a debate, and I'm like, suppose I challenge Muslims. I say, prove that Muhammad's a prophet. And they come in and they go, okay, well, based on the scientific miracles and the amazing, miraculous preservation of the Quran and all these prophecies about him in the Old Testament and the New Testament and all these prophecies, and we've got this airtight case. And I go, okay, suppose I grant all of your arguments that Muhammad is a true prophet. What would that have to do with Islam being true? It's like, wait, what? What? You just granted it, right? The point is, don't grant it. If you, I don't know what to do, man.
This is why Libiano hates Elijah, and he was trying so hard to get the debate canceled with Uthman. One of the reasons why was because Elijah was going, not just because Avery was going there, because Elijah was going there, and this is the genesis of why Libiano hates Elijah.
So
he's been trying to get revenge ever since.
So this is the background story where the villain is driven insane.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Such things.
I said I was granting it for argument's sake, Elijah, and you cut me off in the middle of explaining. So are you going to run away, or are you going to engage?
You said that argument is valid and
sound.
Do you know what that means?
Are you going to let me finish? Are you going
to
engage?
You know what valid and sound means?
Hey, brother, if you don't want to engage, you could leave. It's okay. Do you want to engage?
Yeah. Do you know what valid and sound means?
Yes. Do you
what does it mean?
I'll tell you what it means. Just tell me. Are you going to engage?
Yeah. What does it mean?
Okay. It means that I'm granting you that it logically follows and that it's sound. It corresponds to reality. I'm going to grant
it's true.
Okay. That's exactly what corresponding to reality means.
Exactly. So you're saying that the argument is true.
Can I finish?
So if the argument is true, then Christianity is true.
Can I finish without you cutting
me off? You just said that Christianity is true.
Yeah, so that was the clip. That was the clip, man.
So yeah, that's
let me grant your argument that Christianity is true. Now, what does that have to do with Christianity being true? What?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird stuff, man.
So this is what you're gonna get with Elijah, guys. All these great arguments, learning maybe some new arguments as well, and a kind of compact, easy, understandable way, and just there's some laughs along the way as well. So
yeah, he's a funny dude, man.
Yeah.
Let's see. Please don't take my sunshine away. There we go. Am I wrong? But if the Quran is eternal, then the abrogated parts were eternally abrogated, but Mo abrogated eternal portions that were forgotten in time. But they would have eternally forgotten? This religion is dumb. Yeah, so forgotten in time. So there are verses of the Quran. So basically, guys, you have you have this issue that you have Allah's, even for Muslims who don't say that the Quran is eternal, if they believe that the Quran was created by Allah at some point in the past. they still believe that there's like this preserved tablet of the Quran, and the issue is that Quran has verses that were abrogated or canceled by other verses that give a completely different ruling or command. And that would mean that on Allah's eternal tablet or just his preserved tablet in heaven, there are completely contradictory commands on what to do. And in addition to all that, you've got the Quran laying down as one of its arguments that if this were from other than Allah, then they would have found in it much discrepancy. And it's like, well, Allah's eternal tablet or his preserved tablet is filled with discrepancy then. So with the on the issue of abrogation, it's weird because there are verses that were abrogated from the Quran and they were taken out from the Quran, but then there are other verses that were abrogated and they leave them in the Quran, and it's just a pretty weird mess. So yeah, this religion is dumb. That is a good assessment of everything. And then we've got Psalm 51:16 and Micah 6:7-8. I'll leave that up there, but let's jump into. All right, this is the debate.
Those are references that Elijah was alluding to about God not desiring and sacrifices. So God, in other words, God desires obedience, that you'd rather be obedient.
Yep.
So the idea is if you sacrifice, it means that you've sinned against God. So he rather desires obedience and not have you sacrifice. In other words, that you won't be sinning.
Yep.
That's what God desires. But
Yep.
of course, we all fall short.
And now we have Sheikh Uthman. Sheikh Uthman.
Yeah. So this is the most recent one.
This is Sheikh Uthman, one of the legends of Dawah, against this brand new guy. Obviously going to be easy work for Sheikh Uthman, right? Easy work for Sheikh Uthman. Let's find out, everyone.
All right, and we already know the prompt, but if you do want to say it again, please
It's
feel
up to
free to
Elijah
do so.
if you want.
You
to.
could say it just
Okay. Should we start? Or are we
Let's
waiting for
go.
somebody? Okay.
It's all on you.
Jesus is not Almighty God, according to the Bible.
Okay, you agree that according to the Bible, Yahweh is the Almighty God?
I believe that is one of the names used for God in the Bible. But again, as you have seen in the Bible, names are used differently. Even Baal was referenced once, and then it was taken not as the names of God.
Is Yahweh the name
It's
of the
one
Almighty
of the names
God?
that's used, yes.
Okay, can you open up to Psalm 83:18?
And that they may know that you, whose name alone is the Lord, are the Most High over all the earth.
That Lord is in all caps, right?
It is. Yes.
And you know what it means when the Lord is in all caps?
Again, I don't think the original Bible is written in caps. So
No, it's not.
This is the only thing I know about this beforehand because Vocab mentioned this, that Sheikh Uthman doesn't know that when you're reading the Old Testament and you see Lord in all caps, he doesn't know what's going on there. So for any Sheikh Uthman fans who are here, you have the name of God in the Old Testament, Yahweh. So what, you can get a translation that will keep Yahweh, or will say Jehovah or something like that. But usually translators use the word Lord, but they put it in all capital letters, capital L, capital O, capital R, capital D, to signify that the Hebrew word there is Yahweh. And part of the reason is given the warnings about taking the Lord's name in vain. People don't like tossing around the name of God very much, so use something else. Even lots of Jews, they would replace. They would, instead of saying the name Yahweh, they will say like Adonai or something like that, Lord, Hebrew for Lord, instead. Because so anyway, Sheikh Uthman doesn't know that, and he just says, "No, there weren't. I don't think there were capitals back then. I don't think there were capital letters back then." He doesn't know what Lord in all caps signifies
And
when he reads it.
He's supposed to be this expert on the Bible, and this guy who knows the Bible. Like, he's a debater for the Christians, and he did so horrible in this, and he got such terrible backlash from the Muslims that he says he did another 1v20 at some Bible seminary or some. Did you see that clip? He said some Bible college or something like that. He's like, there were some Bible professors and seminary students, and he's like, one of them even converted on. We got it on camera. I don't know if you've seen that clip, but he's trying to he's trying to win the Muslims back over to himself, and he's like trying to redeem himself in the Muslim community. They're not buying it though. They were saying in the comments like, I don't know, I don't trust you. I gotta see I gotta see for myself. But yeah, so this went so bad for him, and Elijah was one of the top reasons for why this went so bad for him. And Elijah's just in like straight like he just saw what happened with the first Anita, what happened to her, and then I think it was a couple other I don't know if Elijah was second or third or fourth, or I can't remember what place he was like in actual like not the edited, not the released version, but like in real life, what actually the order was. But he was at the point where he just wanted to pin this guy down. So someone pointed out that he only smiled like one. I think it was a vocab or someone said that he only smiled like one time in this interaction, and it was like at the way end when we'll see what happens. I don't want to spoil it, but
oh, yo, we got Avery over here. 1 second, let's check out these super chats real quick. This is 3. Avery's the third. Let's see. Not if A, then A. Not if A, then A is an axiom in hot competition with juniors. If A, then A, therefore not A, aka Modus Junior. Yeah, that'd be Modus Junior. That's funny. Dawa just say terms they heard from postmodernism. And we've got, here's from Avery here. Elijah really running through the Dawa. No zoot.
Yeah.
It's not in the zoot sense, man. Get it right. I need to print T-shirts before someone else does. Not in the zoot sense. All right. So I backed it up a little. Sheikh Uthman. Here we go.
Alone is the Lord, are the Most High over all the earth.
That Lord is in all caps, right?
It is. Yes.
And you know what it means when the Lord is in all caps?
Again, I don't think the original Bible is written in caps. So
no, it's not. That's why in the English
here,
they make sure that we're able to identify what's there in the Hebrew. So do you know what it means?
You know what's funny though about that? At least for the New Testament, it actually was written in caps. Like in Greek, you actually do have a distinction between uppercase and lowercase, and the original is all written in like capital letters, like the earliest manuscripts. In Hebrew, you don't have that. It's just like one. There's no like uppercase or lowercase. There's a couple of like 5 letters that change when they're at the end of a word, but so it's just kind of funny. Like I don't think that was written in uppercase. Actually, for the New Testament, it was.
Let's see. Hang on. Avery posted. It was Anita, Albi, me, Elijah, Sig, Bell, Vocab, and Abe. Is he talking about the order here?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Anita, Albi, Avery, then Elijah. Okay. So he's so yeah. But they were saying after Anita, they were all just like fired up and ready to go. Like they were like ready. So
nice.
Yeah.
In the English, they make sure that we're able to identify what's there in the Hebrew. So do you know what it means when the Lord is in all caps?
I would assume that's a reference to being God.
Well, specifically in the Hebrew, it's the divine name, Yahweh.
Okay.
So it says that you alone, whose name is Yahweh, is the Most High God, right?
Okay.
So Yahweh alone is the Most High God, right?
According to this verse, yes.
Okay, cool. So now can we go to Jeremiah 23, verse 5 through 6? All right. You understand that Jesus is the Messiah?
I do believe he is the Messiah, yes.
Yeah, okay. And he's specifically the Messiah, and the Messiah comes
Jeremiah
from David.
What?
23, verse 5 and 6.
23, 5
and 6.
Behold, the days are coming, says the Lord, on all caps, that I will raise to David a branch of the righteousness.
Okay.
A king shall reign and prosper and execute judgment, and the righteous in the earth.
Okay, we stop there real quick?
Sure.
So you understand that this is speaking about the Messiah. The Messiah, all throughout the scriptures, is named the righteous king that comes from David.
But there are many messiahs in Islam.
Oh, what if he pulled that card?
I've got the footnote right here. It would be funny to see Avery's reaction if he pulled that stunt.
Avery would just jump up, man. He's just like, not
in
again.
In fact, if Sheikh Uthman had a good enough sense of humor, he would do that as a joke, right? Yeah. Like you use that argument and Avery's pop up, and then he could just turn to Avery and go, "Got you," and then that'll be it. And people would think that's hilarious. That would be some hilarious stuff. Anyway, back to the poll.
Is named the righteous king that comes from David. You understand that, right?
Okay, so I do want to understand something here. Then, So the Lord here, Yahweh, is not the one that's coming. He's the one speaking.
So, yeah, Yahweh is
Okay,
speaking.
so Yahweh is speaking.
Yeah, Yahweh is
Saying
speaking.
that I will raise, God will raise to David a branch of
branch.
righteousness.
And that's the Messiah,
A
right?
king shall reign and prosper
Okay.
and execute judgment and righteousness on earth.
Okay, and that's the Messiah, right?
Who is that referring to?
The Messiah.
Okay.
David, the righteous branch of David, who's going to be a king and execute judgment in the land. That's the
Elijah's like
Messiah.
hammering this point home.
who's that?
The Messiah, the
Who's
Messiah, the
that?
Messiah.
Yeah, who's this?
Who's this referring to?
Who's this descendant of David who's going to be king?
David, who's going to be a king and execute judgment in the land. That's the Messiah.
Okay, but
Okay.
again, according to Jewish scholars who study this,
This is the Messiah.
is not a reference to Jesus.
This
Because he
that
did
doesn't
not-
right now. You believe that Jesus is the Messiah. They don't believe that a Messiah is here. I'm not here arguing a Jew. I'm here arguing somebody who knows that Jesus is the Messiah. What the Jews do say about this verse is that this verse is a messianic prophecy.
Yeah, so guys, that was just a stupid point from Sheikh Uthman. So
Yep.
Elijah's pointing out this is an obviously there's an obvious messianic prophecy. Jews would agree that this is a messianic prophecy. This is about the Messiah. You'd have to be like a messianic Jew or something like that to believe that it refers to Jesus, because if you're not, then you would say, okay, that's about the Messiah, but the Messiah is not Jesus. But Elijah is talking to a Muslim who believes that Jesus is the Messiah. So Jews would agree that that is a messianic prophecy, and since Sheikh Uthman believes that Jesus is the Messiah, Jesus would have to be the fulfillment of that prophecy. It is weird. It's extremely weird to me how Muslims will, but there are Jews who don't believe that. You're a Muslim, dude. You're a Muslim. You believe that Jesus is the Messiah. So why would you appeal to someone who rejects Jesus as the Messiah? That's just weird. But anyway, back up slightly.
This is a messianic prophecy. They don't know who their Messiah is. So that's not what we're talking about. Right now, this verse, even according to the Jews, is speaking about the Messiah. Okay.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm
Can I
done.
speak?
It's okay.
Well,
This is healthy. This is good.
We're getting there. So this
It's
verse
healthy.
is speaking about the Messiah. Yahweh is saying, I will raise up for David a righteous branch. He will reign as king and deal wisely and execute justice and righteousness in the land. Speaking about the Messiah, he makes it very clear. Can you read verse 6?
Okay. In his days, Judah will be saved and Israel will dwell safely. Now that is his name by which he will be called,
Which is?
the Lord of righteousness.
Is that Lord in all caps?
It is. And
So-
righteousness also. I don't know why.
Yeah, because that name specifically that's attributed to that person is Yahweh, which we don't see that happen anywhere else. Because as Psalm 83:18 says,
Wait, did it want to say the Lord of righteousness, or is it? It's actually the Lord our righteousness. I don't know if you misread it.
How impressed are you by Sheikh Uthman's reading skills and comprehension, Jai?
Not very.
I'm saying
very
cut him
impressed.
some slack. He has serious
yeah,
problem.
yeah.
He can't read a footnote and get it accurate and understand it at all. He
True,
always
true,
thinks
true, true,
footnotes
true.
say the exact opposite of what they're saying. So cut him a little slack. The Lord our righteousness versus the Lord of righteousness. So since you rudely interrupted him by nitpicking and claiming that he's not terribly literate, let's back it up.
that's attributed to that person is Yahweh, which we don't see that happen anywhere else. Because as Psalm 83:18 says, Yahweh alone is the Most High. This just called the Messiah the Most High. You know that Jesus is the Messiah. So very clearly in the Bible, Jesus is the Most High.
Good? You done?
you hear everyone else in there? Boom. Boom.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
All right, cool.
Go ahead.
So first thing, my belief in the Messiah, is that he's not God. So if you're asking me what
That doesn't matter.
again,
Sure,
please.
hold on. Let
Thank
him
you so
finish.
much. Yeah, because you kept asking me, you believe this, so I'm just explaining my belief. Then
That's
my
fair.
belief is not based on this. Okay, my belief is based on the Quran, and that tells us that he is a Messiah, but he's a slave of God. He's not God himself. Okay. Secondly, here it has some statements that Judah will be saved and Israel will dwell in safety. That never happened in the lifetime of Jesus that I know of on earth. even according to Christian or Jewish scholars. That's why Jewish scholars who study these texts have said Jesus does not fit this Messiah, right?
Yeah, we're not dealing with the best and the brightest.
Yeah, everyone. I mean, I just said it, guys. I just said it's insane when a Muslim who believes that Jesus is the Messiah will turn for support for something he's arguing to people who don't believe Jesus is the Messiah and say, see, these guys say that Jesus isn't the Messiah. Okay, are they right according to you? Are they right that Jesus isn't the Messiah? Are they correct? If so, Islam is false, buddy. How are you not getting this? But I mean, it's just insane because Muslims have a very similar situation to Christians in that you have Old Testament prophecies about the Messiah coming and ruling, and these were interpreted as the Messiah is going to come, he's going to conquer the Romans and all this. But you had two different lines of prophecies, and Jews interpreted them as some there's going to be two messiahs, or they weren't sure what was going on there.
Right.
If you're a Christian or if you're a Muslim, you have to, since you believe that Jesus is the Messiah and you have these Old Testament prophecies, then the prophecies that applied to Jesus when he came during his earthly ministry, you have to say, okay, those were fulfilled there. For prophecies about him conquering or something like that, you have to say, oh, those would apply to the future. And that's why Muslims believe Jesus is going to return and he's going to judge and things like that, right? They understand the Messiah has to do those kinds of things. Sheikh Uthman just said, but Jesus didn't do some of the things that are prophesied there, and this has caused lots of Jews to reject him as prophet. I mean, to reject him as the Messiah. Okay, are they right? Sheikh, why are you bringing it up? I mean, at this point, he might as well. I mean, this would be along the lines of him saying, well, you know, lots of atheists don't even believe in God, so none of this stuff would make any sense if there is no God, right? You're a Muslim. You're a Muslim. You believe in God. You believe that Jesus is the Messiah. You believe certain things. Why do you appeal to people who don't believe those things or who reject Islam, who reject Jesus and so on, and then say, what about these guys? Nothing to do with the argument. This is a Christian talking to a Muslim. The Christian and Muslim agree that Jesus is the Messiah and therefore that he is the fulfillment of messianic prophecies. Any messianic prophecies that have not been fulfilled, you would say, are going to be fulfilled at some point in the future. Sheikh Uthman just acts like this is a problem for Christianity. If it's a problem for Christianity, it'd be a problem for Islam, dude. Why are you stupid? Anyway, I backed it up.
Those who study these texts have said Jesus does not fit this Messiah, right? Thirdly, which I would like to make a point that you said,
but is that Messiah is that Messiah divine according to his understanding though? Because he's not disputing that the Messiah is being called Yahweh, our righteousness, or Yahweh of righteousness, Lord of righteousness. He's disputing that it's Jesus. So is he granting that? Is he like just saying, okay, yeah, the Messiah according to this text is divine, but it's just not Jesus? Is that what he's arguing? Like, I don't know what he's really saying there.
That's kind of the point, I'm guessing, is that they have no coherent position. The Muslims have Sheikh Uthman does not have a coherent position that can account for these things. Because if you believe Jesus the Messiah, you got some interesting stuff going on. I did want to point out here, just for anyone's wondering, I'm surprised Dizzle and the Turk aren't covering Candy's super epic debate. Yeah, AP's out of town. He doesn't get back until, I think, late tomorrow, so I'm like 98% sure that's what AP will want to cover on Sunday. So yeah, you'll have to wait till Sunday for AP to be back, and then I'm sure that's what we'll be checking out and reviewing. But right now we're checking out Sheikh Uthman not knowing anything about anything, apparently. Not knowing about Islam, not knowing about the Bible, not knowing basic things like what does Lord in all caps mean in the Old Testament.
Yeah.
Does not fit this Messiah, right? Thirdly, which I would like to make a point that you said in caps, even our righteousness is all in caps. And this qualifies the Lord, our righteousness altogether. Very interestingly. If you believe that this Messiah is God and he was sent by God, then even by your own admission, you have two gods.
No, so can you read the prompt again?
Sure.
Yeah.
Jesus is not Almighty God according to the Bible.
Okay, so according to the Bible, where it's
He already set him up for this because he already showed him in the Psalm that Yahweh is the Almighty God. So there's not like a second Almighty God. So if you can then show that the Messiah is Yahweh, then it's debate
won.
over.
It's
So
done.
he already anticipated this, it seems, and that's why okay, I see. See what's going on here.
Got him.
Got him.
Got him.
Not Almighty God according to the Bible.
okay, so according to the Bible, where it says that Yahweh alone is the Most High God, and
Look at the guys in the background. Sig was grinning. Guy on the other side's grinning.
That's LB. Sig and LB.
Oh, okay. I'll back it up a little bit here.
Gods.
no, so can you read the prompt again?
Sure.
Yeah.
Jesus is not Almighty God according to the Bible.
Okay, so according to the Bible, where it says that Yahweh alone is the Most High God, and it says that the Messiah who's being spoken about here is Yahweh, then according to the Bible, the Messiah is the Most High God, right?
Okay. Let me read the prompt
That's
again
a-
for
that's
you.
a yes or no.
Let me
Well,
finish.
hold on, hold on.
You just read it once.
No, because
the word's
you-
not going to change when you read it again.
Then why did you ask me to read again?
Because you got off topic.
I'm not off topic. In
You
fact,
started
I'm
talking
on-
about your-
Again, now you're interrupting
We're,
me.
we're
After I
either
let
going to
you
flow
speak.
to the Quran or we're going to dive into the text. I think you
We're-
guys need to
we're-
really
We're going
figure
to
this
stick
out.
to the
so the
prompt
reason-
if you don't mind.
the reason as to
Jesus
why I
is
brought-
not Almighty
okay.
God according to the Bible. This in no way, shape, or form mentions the word of Jesus or that this is Jesus himself. That's why here it is your belief set that this reference is to Jesus, not the verses in the Bible.
What is this guy on about?
wow.
So
guy's
you've got
an idiot.
you've got a messianic prophecy. According to that messianic prophecy, the Messiah is called Yahweh our righteousness.
Yeah.
And he just quoted you the psalm that the Almighty, the only Almighty, is Yahweh. You can't get any clearer than that.
Yeah.
And then he's just saying, well, where does it say it's talking about Jesus? It says it's talking about the Messiah.
And the Bible says the
The
Messiah is.
Messiah. You agree that Jesus is the Messiah, so you agree that if this is about the Messiah, then it's
Yeah.
about Jesus, and it calls Jesus Yahweh, who is
But
the Almighty.
But even if he doesn't agree that Jesus is the Messiah, the debate about what does the Bible
Yeah.
teach? We're talking
Yeah.
Old and New
So-
Testament. So,
Yeah. So the Bible definitely 100% teaches that Jesus is the Messiah. So if Jesus is the Messiah and the Messiah is Yahweh, then it all follows.
Yep.
So in other words, guys, the only way out of this is to either no, there is no way out of this. The only way out of this would be to not have that prompt, right? So if he had titled this, "Is Jesus," or if his prompt were, "Jesus is not God Almighty," or something like that, that would be one thing, because then you
Yeah.
show him from the Bible and he can say, "I don't care, I think the Bible's been corrupted," or something like that. Then you go Islamic dilemma.
Right.
But by just saying, "Hey, according to the Bible," all right, it doesn't matter if you agree with it or not. It's right there in the Bible. Jesus is the Messiah according to the Bible. The Messiah is God according to the Bible. I don't know what to do after that. This is what Dawa does to your
Straight
brain, guys.
cut.
Is Jesus the Messiah?
Right, we went into the
I already explained that
thought process of
Yes.
this. So go ahead and elaborate on that because I know where you want to go with that.
Yeah. So here, as a matter of fact, let's go to Luke 24 verses 44 on, because you understand that the Greek word for Messiah is Christ. So if we see that Jesus calls himself the Christ, and this is a messianic prophecy, then you see that Jesus recognizes himself as the Messiah. So let's go to Luke chapter 24, and we could start at verse 44, I believe.
Hey, this is actually funny because, he could just point out, wait, according to the Quran, Jesus is the Messiah. But since the
Right.
topic is the Bible, it's okay. Since you're saying, well, maybe messianic prophecies aren't about Jesus because that passage doesn't say he's the Messiah. Right, but in the Bible elsewhere, Jesus identifies himself as the Messiah. So you're stuck, dude.
24 what?
Bro, we can start at verse 44.
24, 44?
Yeah, I believe so.
Then he said to them, "These are the words which I spoke to you while I was still with you, and that all things must be fulfilled which were written in the laws of Moses and the prophets and the Psalms concerning me."
Keep going. We can start at verse 46.
And he opened the understanding that they might comprehend the scripture. Then he said to them, "Thus it is written, and thus it was necessary for the Christ to suffer and to rise from the death of the third day, and that
From the death
repentance
of-
and remission
From
of
the
sins
death.
should be preached by his name to all nations, beginning at Jerusalem. And you are witness
You can
to
stop.
these
You can
things."
stop there.
Okay.
You just started. So congratulations, you just started preaching the gospel. That's beautiful.
Awesome.
So
I like these little
so you
tricks,
see
man.
that Jesus clarifies and says that he is.
It's funny. I like these little tricks. Uthman is nothing but tricks. That's all. That's
Yeah,
it.
that's all
That's
he
all he
is.
does. That's all he is.
Yeah.
I backed it up a little.
Congratulations, you just started preaching the gospel. That's beautiful. So
I like these little
so you
tricks,
see
man.
that Jesus clarifies and says that he is the Christ, right? Which is the Messiah, right?
I mean, I'm letting you speak.
Yeah,
Is
that's
there
a yes or
question?
no.
I think
yes?
he's asking
Okay.
if you agree.
He
I-
says that he's the Christ, right?
I do agree that he claims to be the Messiah here.
Okay.
Yes.
And in Jeremiah 23, this is a messianic prophecy. So Jesus is identifying himself as the Messiah. And in Jeremiah 23, does it
this
say
is where
that
it
the
was wanting to
Messiah's
say
name
multiple
is
Messiahs. This is where he needs to pull almost
Yeah.
Messiah's line.
Oh, but so many prophets are messiahs. Look, I've got a footnote.
Yeah.
And in Jeremiah 23, does it say that the Messiah's name is Yahweh? Yes or no?
I don't see the Greek here, but I see the Lord. Yes.
The Greek?
You could pull up the Hebrew. I could
Okay,
pull it up for
gotcha.
you.
Okay.
You want me
so-
to?
No. I have a question about this first, though.
Does it? Okay, can you answer mine first, though?
Sure. I'll concede
Does
you that.
Jeremiah? You'll concede that.
Yes.
So okay, cool. Then it's done.
done.
It's
I
not
told
done.
you. It happened two
That's,
times.
that's the same thing with Libiano. I grant everything.
Yeah.
I grant your entire argument.
But
Okay.
Elijah had to do. He had to do like a double take here. Look at his eyes. He's like, did he just?
He just granted. He just granted that. Back it up.
And I think you finally see him
So,
smile
okay.
at this point. He's like, I got him.
Got him.
Does it? Okay, can you answer mine first, though?
Sure. I'll concede
Does
you that.
Jeremiah? You'll concede that.
Yes.
So okay, cool. Then it's
Go ahead.
done.
It's not done. Let me explain why. First
not
thing,
over?
you're.
Well, we
you're,
could go-
you're talking-
who's-
hold on,
I got
Who's
you.
next?
Now you just want to run.
Yeah,
huh?
hold on,
That's
hold on.
quick.
Sheikh Uthman saying, "Oh, you want to run?" He's saying, "Done, done." The prompt was, Jesus. According to the Bible, Jesus is not God Almighty. He showed that Yahweh is the only God Almighty. That the Messiah is called Yahweh, our righteousness, and that Jesus claimed to be the Messiah. You would have to reject one of those claims or say that something is being massively misinterpreted. Instead, he says, I concede all those points. Okay, that's it then. You just did what Libiano did, right? I
Game
concede.
over.
I concede your entire argument. I concede all your premises and the validity. Okay, then you conceded the argument. You say, "Oh, you're going to run now?" Elijah's going, "What are you talking about?
You just said
You
that
just
I-
granted
I-
everything. That's done.
game
And you-
over.
Yeah, that prompt. That you lost. You lost on that prompt. So that's done. I agree. That's done. He can just walk away right now.
Funny, yeah.
Hey,
I don't-
if
I
he
got
wants,
you.
We're on a
He's
time
my-
crunch, right?
I
Like,
got it.
does Jeremiah? You'll concede that.
Yes.
So okay, cool. Then it's done.
It's not done. Let me explain why. First
not
thing,
over?
you're.
Well, we
you're,
could go-
you're talking-
who's
yeah,
next?
I got
Who's
you.
next?
Now you just want to run.
Yeah,
huh?
hold on, hold on,
That's
hold
quick.
on.
It's funny, yeah.
hey,
I
if he
got
wants
you.
We're on a
to-
time crunch, right?
I
Like,
got
If
you.
everybody, if he wants to, if he wants to, I'm sure he wants to.
I like that. He's saying, "Okay, I won that. We're in a time crunch. Uthman has to be out of there for an appointment by 4. Let's get the next person up because he already lost that. Why are we gonna drag this out?" I like that.
Hold on,
That's
hold
quick.
on.
It's funny, yeah.
Hey,
I
if he
got
wants
we're on a
to-
time crunch, right?
I
Like,
got
If
you.
everybody, if he wants to, if he wants to, I'm sure he wants to rebuttal to
If
that.
you don't
so
mind,
allow him.
yes. So again,
rebuttal to his own concession.
rebuttal to-
Go ahead, bro.
you want to
Sheikh Uthman versus Sheikh Uthman. I want to say
Shame
Sheikh Uthman, aka me, was wrong for conceding those points.
I should have never done that. I should have never lost this debate.
Shame on me.
Rebuttal to his own concession?
Rebuttal to-
Go ahead, bro.
You want to run, you can run, bro. No problem. Go for it. Put somebody else
You're
up.
on a time
But if you don't
crunch, right?
mind,
You just
Meta,
said that
I don't want
Jesus-
the meta.
All right, go
Okay,
ahead.
there
Go
we
ahead.
So here you're saying a king shall reign and prosper and execute judgment and righteousness on earth. This day Judah will be saved and Israel will dwell in safety. When did that happen in the lifetime of Jesus?
Is that talking about the Messiah?
Yeah, it is. This is worth you quoting
Okay, and
from me.
Jesus is the Messiah?
According to you, this is the
Cool.
reference, but these don't match.
So we'll
Your
just do
reference
closing.
doesn't match.
You just conceded that the Messiah
I just
is...
conceded that Jesus claimed to be a Messiah, but your reference
you-
doesn't match Jesus.
You just conceded that Jesus
just
is
want
the
to-
Messiah in
can
Jeremiah
go ahead.
23.
I'll let you
And
go.
you just conceded that the Messiah in Jeremiah 23 is Yahweh, and Yahweh alone is the Most High God. That's what you just did. So very clearly, according to the Bible, Jesus is God in the Bible. That's all that needs
Yeah.
to be said. I think that's it. It was
That's
a good
it.
try.
I appreciate it.
I will allow if you want
Cooked
to make
him.
a final statement, and
Thank
then
you.
if or because that sounded like your final statement,
Yeah.
correct? Okay.
That's it. That's game over.
That's
For Israel.
total game over in any of this.
Yeah.
But Jesus didn't fulfill all of the messianic prophecies. Right, because some of them are still in the future, according to both Christianity and Islam. Are you saying that they're not? That Jesus isn't the Messiah because he didn't fulfill all of them right then? That's and guess what? That would still be irrelevant. Jesus is the Messiah according to the Bible. I don't know what to do here, man. There's no way out. But he's going to thump his chest and watch. He's probably going to say, look, he doesn't even fulfill these prophecies. How can he be the Messiah? This is a Muslim, guys. This is a Muslim. This is what they'll do to avoid what the Bible says. They'll throw Islam under the bus.
So if you okay,
all
if I
right,
can have
you-
quiet in the room, please. We are still doing this. If you would like to make a final statement.
You asked me a question and I answered it, but when I asked you a question, you just ran from it. I told you in this verse that you're trying to tie to Jesus, there is a qualifier that these days Judah will be saved and Israel will dwell in safety and so on that are not there. And when I asked you that, you didn't even answer. You just ran from it. So this reference being
Topic.
Jesus, whether the New Testament claims Jesus is that Messiah or not, is very different from saying that this fits Jesus. It doesn't. And you didn't answer that. So nice try. Have a nice day.
Yeah, so...
Thank you, gentlemen. Well done.
He's like, all right.
Hey. Hey, Sheikh Uthman, you know that passage where Jesus is explaining how the messianic prophecies are fulfilled in him? Is that in the Bible? I think it's in the Bible. You
Bible.
literally read it from the Bible that you brought with you to the debate. You read it. It's in the Bible. So if you're saying Islam is crazy, man. Islam forces people to be this insanely irrational. Look who we got here. Issa, we're done here. You show up and we're done, dude.
Oh, really? When did you start? I thought it was like 8 or 9.
Yeah. We started at 8. I said probably when we're watching it. We watched 2 other clips before that, but then we watched his 10-minute debate with Sheikh Uthman. So that was a short one. He made his point. You might want to go and check this out because then you might learn a little more about Jesus there. Might learn a little more about Jesus.
I did see
Messiah.
this debate, and I was like, that's why I clicked in. I was like, oh, I saw this. Yeah, the Muslim apologists are doing bad, man. Y'all just keep winning these, huh? You just keep winning these debates, you know? So
That's what happens, man. That's what's been happening. Good times for everyone, unless you're a Dawa guy. Wow.
I actually heard that Sheikh Uthman kind of rigged the debate too in his favor. He did fake, those like fact check cards they do at Jubilee.
Mm-hmm.
He did that for everything against like GodLogic, and I was like, why aren't you like honest about this? And it didn't look, because he made mistakes himself and he didn't get fact checked.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, where are Sheikh Uthman's fact checks? Because he said a lot of very dishonest things.
Yep.
And I don't know. It's I guess he's a deceptive Daisy. Sorry.
That is one of the most condescending and demeaning things you can say. You're a deceptive daisy. It's true, though. I mean, like, indisputably true. But yeah, man, that was just quick and brutal and like Dawa guy. I mean, where you Dawa fans? Where do you go from here, man? Where do you go from here? All your top guys are just getting just cooked and destroyed left and right. And like, I know you guys must be thinking, oh, but maybe when the next debate comes, then we're gonna have you guys not been paying attention. It's
Yeah.
like what win have they had this year? It's just been loss after loss after loss after loss after loss after loss. It's pretty crazy, man.
They use the same arguments too. That's the thing that I've noticed, because I actually had a debate today myself about this, about is the Bible corrupted, and it's a buddy, and he was saying like the Quran is perfectly preserved. It was literally the same type of argument. So before I came into these spaces, I didn't even know that people had these arguments. I didn't know that people thought the Bible was corrupt. The position I heard growing up with Muslim folks was more like, oh yeah, that's a holy book, but we're just not really looking at it. Like, that's kind of the narrative that I heard. They're all holy books, but we're focusing on the Quran, right? That was the argument that I heard. I never heard the Bible was corrupt. I never heard Jesus was a Muslim. I never heard any of this stuff. So this is very new to me when I came into these spaces and I started to hear people believe this. And I was like, when I heard that they said the Bible is corrupt, I'm like, you do know that's one of the articles of faith. That's one of the Arkan al-Iman. You have to believe in the books, and the Quran affirms it. And I was like, yeah, you might have a difficulty here, but you have to do reconciliation. Just like they're like, well, the Bible's corrupted and it contradicts. And they bring up the gospel with how Judas perishes. Like, does Judas fall down and in the field of blood, or does he hang himself, or did his guts come? It's pretty brutal, but either way, they're like, well, these two narratives exist, and I'm like, Christians reconcile this. You do know that, right? And I said, the Quran has nasikh wa mansukh, which are verses of abrogation. I'm like, if you're non-Muslim, and I told this to the person today, I'm like, that's a contradiction. You do know that, right? When you say you can drink alcohol and then you cannot drink alcohol, these are contradictions. And you're like, well, it's not for me. And I'm like, yeah, because you're a Muslim who believes this theology. I said, if you're an outsider who doesn't believe that, it is a contradiction. And I'm like, where is your self-awareness? Like, they have no self-awareness. And they're like, well, the Quran is perfectly preserved. I'm like, Harry Potter's perfectly preserved. So what? What is your point? Like, do you think that that's a win for you? Like, the Yellow Pages is perfectly preserved. They're like, well, it was the 1400s. I'm like, so what? And he said, every religion, all the religions, this is the only book perfectly preserved. I'm like, do you know every religion? Have you studied Sikhism, Jainism? Have you gone through all the religions? I'm like, you don't even extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. They don't have any of it. And they just will make these extraordinary claims and just expect you to believe this. And they say, well, the Bible's corrupt. And I'm like, are you an expert of the Bible? I said, oh, you're not? So then
no, but that's what I heard.
And I'm like, you're not an expert of the Bible. And then you're saying, well, you get to be the expert, you get to critique the Bible. And then if someone critiques the Quran, you're like, no, you can't critique the Quran. Like with the liberal, they use liberal academia to attack the Bible. And I'm like, liberal academia attacks the Quran too. Have you studied Cook and Crone? Like, do you know their work? Like, do you know that there are scholars who don't believe in the imitable Quran? They don't believe in any of these things that you say. Are you going to use those works? Oh, no, you forget, you have an amnesia and forget they exist. I don't know. It's so dishonest. Sorry. It's just, there's a lot of dishonesty that I saw today,
No, I mean, absolutely. And matter of fact, what you just said reminded me of Cora. I think it was either earlier today or yesterday or something like that. She posted, so when Christian missionaries are showing up to your town, these are the books you need to read. And it's like books by Bart Ehrman and stuff like that. And it's, wait, what? You're saying go to the atheists? Get your stuff from the atheists? It's just nuts, man. It's just completely nuts. Hang on. Got a request for a link here. Let me see. Someone just asked me for a link. It said send the link. So I'm assuming send the link for this live stream that we're in right now. That we were ending. Let's see if someone shows up. Let's see. We'll take
It's
some
not
super.
gonna end now.
Take some super chat. Yeah, it'd be funny if we end up being here for like 9 hours.
Oh, did you get a chance to look at Christian Gadfly's song? I don't know if it's safe to play though, because there's like a, I don't know if he's playing the instruments or whatever, but anyway, let's say if you're not gonna play it, I'd recommend people. Well, no, I don't know if I recommend it. It's Christian Gadfly after all, but at your own risk.
Yeah, it's hard to recommend anything from Christian Gadfly.
Yeah,
That's
at
a
your own
weird
risk
dude.
If you want to watch.
That's a weird dude. He's a weird dude. He's got a weird sense of humor.
Yeah. So at your own risk, if you want to watch, he did a song about Elijah's debate, and he clipped the stream that David and I did with Vocab.
Oh yeah, I'll check that out. I do my stuff. Everyone else like clicks on their stuff and plays it while they're live. I download my stuff, so anyway. But I'll check it out. Remember when you had to correct Uthman on Islam? I think everyone regularly corrects Sheikh Uthman on Islam. Now we got Christian Gadfly. Hey, speaking of Christian Gadfly, he got in, he got out. That's what he did.
Oh, that's the song. Yeah, that's the song.
Oh, that's the song? He got in, he got out. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
We got Jack Ray. Next, Shaky Uthman should face a panel of people with the names Nathan, Isaac, Timothy, Zachary, Samuel, just to prove it's not in the Zut sense.
Nice.
That would be good.
Nice.
Hang on, guys. We got another guest here. Let's see. We've got...
Oh, what's up? Wasn't expecting Avery.
Avery, how you doing, man?
First of all, I don't remember getting a notification that this live is going to go on.
We apologize, man.
You are forgiven.
Oh, yeah.
You are forgiven.
We've been busy, man. We've been busy. We've been busy.
Been busy, huh?
Forgot to send the request, man.
Yeah, too busy to check in with the king, man. That doesn't really go well. Doesn't really go well.
Hey, what were you thinking there when like did you know what Elijah was going to argue, or were you just there watching?
Nope. I did not know what he was going to argue in particular. We talked before, and we talked about our strategies that we would do. I told him what I was going to do, and he had the same idea, like to go after the names of Allah and relate it to the names of Jesus and titles and attributes like that. But he was like, okay, no, you're going to crush that. I'm going to do something else then. And so he went on. I didn't know he was going to come with that. And for it to be that easy was, my goodness, 10 minutes, guys. 10 minutes.
I mean, it was. I mean,
That's all it took.
like the most. I mean, so like two just like completely insane things Sheikh Uthman does. One, Jesus didn't fulfill messianic prophecies, and that's why so many Jews reject him as Messiah. Okay, so that is like what could you possibly be thinking when you think that's a good idea? That's something we see over and over again. Hey, we will throw Islam under the bus. We'll throw Muhammad under the bus. We'll throw the Quran under the bus. We'll throw Jesus under the bus just to avoid the conclusion of this argument, which doesn't even work because it's still just what does the Bible say? So that's absolutely insane. But the other insane part is, okay, I grant you that. You just granted all the premises of this argument, and there's no way around them.
No way out. No way out. And it's the setup. One, Uthman doesn't know anything about the Bible.
Yep.
And that was so clearly displayed. He has no idea about the Bible. And so when Elijah's walking him down with these scriptures references, Uthman does not know what's coming. He has no idea what's coming. He has no idea that these are the term Yahweh or Lord all caps. He didn't know what Lord in all caps was. He didn't know. He does not know anything about the Bible. It was exploited, right? And it was just the perfect little argument just to run against him in that scenario. It was perfect, you know. And it's funny with the scenario you have when he hit the punchline. He's like, oh, well, it's done then, right?
Yeah.
Life and Captain Cesariak are sitting like, kind of angled eye reach of Elijah. And so Life and Captain Tazariak are telling him, "Get up, it's over, just leave."
Wow.
And so he does it. He's like, "I think that's done. Nice try, you know. Let's move on." It was perfect.
Yeah, that was, and that's that whole thing was 10 minutes, and it's like if Sheikh Uthman, if he had kind of, I mean, I don't even know what he's going to argue with or something like that, but you can't just grant everything. You have to argue something, and the only two things.
How can you if you don't know nothing?
That's what I mean. But
how can you?
Yeah, like the only thing he could do is, but there are people who reject Jesus as the Messiah.
Right.
Yeah, there are people who reject the existence of God. What's your point? You're a Muslim. You believe in God.
Yeah.
You believe that Jesus is the Messiah. What's your point? It just, I mean, it really does show at the end of the day, this is a spiritual war against Jesus. That's what it is.
Yes.
And to the point, and you see this when they are willing to just throw Muhammad under the bus to attack Jesus. It's like, this is demonic. It's a demonic religion.
Anybody but Jesus, man. That's this cult, this whole group. Anybody but Jesus. Ain't that right, Issa?
Yeah, Issa. Yeah, Issa catching strays here.
Anybody but Jesus, man. We'll side with the Jews, our bitter enemies, who the trees are going to snitch on, in order to not side with Jesus. That's just crazy.
That's what Issa's like. He's like, yeah, I'll be a Muslim and a Jew simultaneously, but not a Christian. And now he's covering his face in shame.
Yep.
That's what Sheikh Uthman should have done.
Yeah.
Issa, that's what Sheikh Uthman should have done. He should have just been like this.
If he had any
It was
shame,
embarrassing. He lost every debate really badly. He lost really. I agree with what Avery said. He doesn't know the Bible at all, and I don't think most of these Muslim apologists do. And I don't think they even understand Islamic theology, because I'm like, we showed it to Junior. Remember, we showed the creed, the Arkan al-Iman. It says you have to believe in the books, and they're like, you know what? We don't have to believe in these books. We can just pretend they don't exist. It's pretty disturbing. You can just lie and deceive, and I don't know. And then people will sponsor you.
Hey, Avery, got a few super chats here, but what do we got coming up? What do we got coming up, man, that people need to pay attention to?
Well, number one, we got a conference coming up in September 19th out here in Las Vegas. The Dizzle himself, Avery, aka Inspiring Philosophy, and I will also be there giving talks, doing a little session. And then also we're going to have the Hebrew Israelites come in, and we're going to try to do a little debate with them. A bunch of them. Not a bunch, but, a few of them.
All in Vegas. In Vegas. So we got the Apologetics conference, then we hit the casinos afterwards.
That's right. Get a couple of Muta wives. Hey, babe.
Yeah. Hey. Hey, that's why this particular conference, like, we had the Seek and Share Truth conference up there in Cleveland, and we, invited Muslims and stuff. You can't be inviting Muslims to come out there to Vegas, because that would be all of a sudden be the Muta capital of the world, man.
They were like, wait, I don't have to wait for Jenna. I could just move here.
This is everything the Hadith promised me.
Yeah, is this Jenna? Is this what it is?
That would be a funny skit. Is there like a sign? I'm assuming there's a sign that says like "Welcome to Las Vegas" or something like that.
Yep.
Oh, hey. You should put on your Muslim gear and make a little skit, man, where you go in, you walk around all the stuff there, and you're like, is this Jenna? Is this Jenna? If I had 1 foot in Las Vegas, I would still fear Allah's deception, man.
So what do you think so far, David, about Elijah?
He's been. I've only seen a few things, but he's been awesome every time, man.
Mm-hmm.
These young bucks, man. These young bucks. So, hey, what should everyone do? I pointed out that they should subscribe to his channel. We got the link in the description, guys.
Yep.
Do you vouch for Elijah?
100%. 100%. That dude has he has the character to continue to do this. You know, like he doesn't have any ego about him, unless
That's
it's
what I was
in
saying.
Christ.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's one of the things that stuck out to me when I first started watching him. That he's very humble, very
Yeah.
humble. Yeah,
Yeah,
you can see that.
he's amazing, man. He's if he continues to be obedient and just keep the same attitude that he has, God is going to continue to elevate him and open up doors for him. He's, it seems like he might be next up, which is so beautiful to see. And God is like, raising up and rewarding characters who are humble and have a heart after his. That's what, and they're not soft. He's not soft. He's loving. He's a killer, but he's gentle and humble. And I love that about him. I love him, man. I love him.
No, that's awesome. And you're mentioning that he's humble, and it would be very easy not to be humble, since you had like Korah describe Allah, and she's basically describing Elijah. Elijah Johnson. He could have been like, whoa, I thought I was just a regular dude, but I'm basically exactly like the God of Islam. Huh.
Well, to be fair, Muhammad does that.
Yeah.
We look at any curly-headed, beardless lad. We're like, hey, you remind me of someone.
Let's see here. We got my favorite part is when Sheikh Almighty tried to run to the Jews' beliefs, and Elijah quickly said, "I'm not debating a Jew." That's how you do it, guys. When they but what about barter? I'm not debating an atheist. But what about it? I'm not debating a Jew. I'm debating a Muslim. And the fact that they have to contradict their own beliefs in order to try to escape arguments is just wild. We've got.
And they don't even agree with these scholars. They don't know these liberals.
Hey,
they pick it.
You cut out for a second, Issa.
Oh, sorry. I said they cherry pick the scholars, and they use the thing that fits whatever their agenda is.
Yep.
But they don't even read the whole situation. Like Bart Ehrman believes in the crucifixion. Do you take that part of Bart Ehrman or not?
Yeah. Bart Ehrman believes that Jesus' death by crucifixion is one of the best established facts of the ancient world. And so, what do you do with that? Well, we just quote when it's convenient. But it's crazy. It's like they're like that with the Quran. They won't believe the verses that affirm the previous scriptures and stuff. So they pick and choose what they want to believe from the Quran. They pick and choose what they want to believe from the Old Testament. They pick and choose what they want to believe from the New Testament. Anything that contradicts them, that's been corrupted. Well, not according to the Quran. But we aren't going to take those verses seriously because we're cherry pickers. They'll cherry pick the church fathers. They'll cherry pick scholars. They'll cherry pick scholars like Christian scholars. They'll cherry pick atheist scholars. They'll cherry pick Muslim scholars, right? When they want an interpretation of a Quran verse, they'll say, yes, and Ibn Kathir said this, and Qurtubi said that. They won't tell you that Qurtubi listed 14 different interpretations. They'll just tell you the one that they want you to agree with and act like that's settled. As like they are the all-time kings of cherry picking, man. They need to start cooking up some cherry pies, man, because they got all kinds of cherries they pick. Can we turn "it's healthy" into an Uthman joke? What's that mean?
I think that's when the moderator, she said it's healthy. It's healthy.
Oh yeah. Okay, I get it. I was wondering. I was thinking, is that a new meme or something like that? It's healthy. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
I'm assuming that's what you put. Yeah.
No, I think you're right. I think you're right. Did y'all see Jake debate on this platform? He started debating with the moderator and making her so angry she had to walk out. I watched a little bit of the clip of that. I haven't actually watched any of the debates. I clicked. I just looked at the thumbnail. Who's in the thumbnail? I was like, I don't recognize anyone here. So it looks like they just got like some. Which you can do that. But it looks like they got like kind of random Christians. I don't know. I don't know everybody, but yeah. So anyway, the point was, I'm not terribly interested in Jake. He doesn't bring anything new at all anymore.
Well, you didn't hear his new argument against the Islamic dilemma? He shut it down.
I hear giggling in the background, which leads me to think that you're mocking him.
I would never. He's the top dog right now. And with the Islamic dilemma, every Muslim needs to hop on his tactic, okay? Yeah. And learn how to argue against the Islamic dilemma.
Yeah, every Muslim out there needs to just go, but Surah 9 verse 29 says we will subjugate you.
Mm-hmm.
Good times.
See?
I actually couldn't believe that he did that in the debate. I was like, the thing is, you're saying I'm trying to win a battle and I'm going to lose the war. His tactic was, I'm
Yeah.
going to make Islam the most vile, horrible religion that we should not trust, we should not be near because it's dangerous, for the sake of trying to win the argument that Islam, the Quran supersedes the Bible. I'm like, that's insane, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you were
No, it
like, he's destroying Islam. You know what I mean? I don't know what to say.
No, by the way, that's how I'm always thinking of things. That they're like extremely short-term thinkers, right? Like whatever I have to say, no matter how fallacious, no matter how false, whatever I have to say in this moment to make it seem like I scored some points, that's fine for me. Doesn't matter if I'll get completely exposed on this later. Doesn't matter what this looks like to non-Muslims. And it's just like, you guys, that's why Dawa guys don't last. They just don't. You know, if you've been a Dawa guy for 6 or 7 years, you are a senior citizen, man. You are a senior citizen in Dawa, because they don't last. They come out with their way of scoring cheap points, and then people catch on. It doesn't work any longer. And so that's why you've got like Sheikh Uthman, who has been a hero of Dawa for several years, and he's just getting crushed right now. What happened? People caught on. People caught on, and they adapted, and the little tricks don't work anymore. D. Wood, my toddler randomly quotes you saying, "You got no hikmah." Just thought you should know. God bless. That toddler is going to be a champion of apologetics. If he's already, toddler's already learning. You got no hikmah. You low hikmah. You got no hawk. You got no hikmah. Book recommendation for apologetics to Muslims. What do you guys think?
That one always trips me up because I didn't learn like apologetics to Muslims like through books. It was through like online.
Yeah.
Like that's how I learned. So I don't actually have a good recommendation for that. I know there's material out there.
Yeah, this sounds like a reader, right? So lots of people.
Yeah.
You can learn from articles and websites and stuff like that. You can learn from videos. That's one of the main ways people learn now. What videos and live streams and stuff like that. This is a reader, Jai. So if you don't read, step aside.
No, yeah. So
because I learned by reading.
Chris, the Islamic Dilemma. You know, he's got that book. That's the one that I can recommend to you. But yeah.
Yeah. So book wise,
it's very good. The Islamic Dilemmas. That's what I'm going to do with my master's thesis. I'm going to use that book. So
Chris's book, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, so book-wise, I would recommend starting with Nabil's book, because Seeking Allah, Finding Jesus, because it's in the context of like a biography, so good to read. Then I would go to Answering Islam by Norm Geisler and Abdul Salib. I read that while I was in prison, and it was very, very helpful. Then probably Nabil's book, No God But One. Definitely The Islamic Dilemma by Chris Frost. What else? A couple other. So those would be as far as like getting a basic background on Islam. Other than that, yeah, go with some videos. Unless you're talking about like a specific topic that isn't geared towards Islam but is relevant for Islam. Like I still know the book. I still know the book by its original title, which is Putting Jesus in His Place, by Ed Komajewski and Rob Bowman. What's the updated and expanded one called?
The Incarnate Christ Answering His Critics, or something like that.
Yeah. So as far as books about Islam, I give you a few there, but you know, you can always go with something on Jesus' death and resurrection specifically, like the historical evidence, evidence for the deity of Christ, evidence for the reliability of the New Testament, and so on. I would also recommend just watching Avery's live streams, because you're going to see all the arguments Muslims bring. So today, AP looks a lot like Ron Weasley. Yes, Muslims are trying real hard to prevent Judah from living in safety in Israel. Thanks, Sheikh Ibn Ketchup, for acknowledging that. That's what he does. We got gay talking donkey with depression. Ibn Kathir al-Bidayah, volume 9. Wait, are you giving a reference here? I'm going to check this out. You started saying, you said gay talking donkey. I was like, Muhammad? No.
No, this is the encounter that Muhammad had with his donkey that he was talking to, and he said so Muhammad talks to a donkey, and the first thing he thinks to ask him is if he's into, if he's into a woman donkey, and he said,
"What are you into? Hey man, what are you into? You want to go to Vegas with me? I hear it's just like Jenna. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Come on, donkey, let me ride you.
What happens in Mecca? Yeah.
Just keep shirking, just keep smirking, shirking, shirk ibn fibbin, shake daisy. Hi guys, how's it going? You see the proof that Islam is falling apart. I appreciate your willingness to look at truth. As an ex-atheist, I got led to Jesus by doing that. That's good. Avery, you've got beef with Golden Gully, a Pakistani food tuber with 5 million subs. He said he wanted to box you, lol. Keep irritating those fools. Why are you starting trouble with Pakistanis, man?
Well, I don't know. Who you talking about? Golden Gully. Who's that?
He's a food tuber, man. He's a food tuber. You're sitting there eating food while dissing food tubers.
Oh, I get it. Mm.
Muslims will throw moped under the zut to attack Jesus. They don't throw him under the bus. They throw him under the zut to attack Jesus. No comment there. Thank you, though. Allah is not omnipotent. That's true. Thank you, Cora, for the lesson in theology. Avery, what are you eating?
Wingstop.
You heard it here, folks. You know that's Avery's brain food there. Avery's brain food. That's what keeps him going. Jake may learn what the Islamic dilemma is one day. Well, let's hope he could keep arguing the way he does. Everyone should learn it. It's powerful. If the topic was the Bible teaches Jesus is Yahweh, couldn't he argue the Jewish interpretation about Jesus and then save his Islamic view by saying the Bible is corrupt? It would defer to the Islamic dilemma, separate debate. No, you can't, because he's saying, what does the Bible teach? And so you can't just pick and choose, well, I'm going to agree with this part of the Bible, use that as an argument, and then reject over here. He should have, if he wanted to go, the Bible's been corrupted. It was his prompt. He's the one who made the prompt, Jesus is not God Almighty according to the Bible. He could have just said, my prompt is Jesus is not God Almighty. But when you say according to the Bible, you're stuck with everything the Bible says. And that was his silly mistake. What is a debate? Well, he finally found out. Now he knows why he doesn't want to do them ever again. Guys, I have a Muslim friend I want to befriend, but even inviting him out to eat is tricky with halal. He always refers me to Muslim Lantern and hides behind his arguments. Could you respond to him more?
Who?
Muslim Lantern?
Oh, Muslim Lantern?
Isn't he one of the guys that copyright strikes you if you play his stuff?
Yep. That's that coward.
Yeah, total coward.
I've looked at his content. He has nothing. He doesn't offer anything of substance. Like, I saw him debate Andrew Wilson, and he just said, don't talk about the prophet this way. And I'm like, you decided to come to this debate. What do you think is going to happen? You're going to have to deal with things that are hostile. That's what it's about being to a debate. And he offered no arguments. And then okay, this is something that makes me upset that I see a lot of Muslim debaters do. They're like, did you memorize a bunch of stuff? Can you tell me who the scholars are? Who cares? You know what I mean? He can't do that with Christian things. So I'm like, why are you trying to do this with Muslim things? I don't know. You saw that with Junior too. It's just this crazy thing. How much stuff did you memorize? Can you parry it off the top of your head? And that shows how accurate you are with information, you know?
Yeah, it's what you used to do, Issa, when you used to be Muslim.
Got him. Got him. Yeah. As far as your Muslim friend, yeah, if you're wondering, you don't want to invite him to this restaurant because you're not sure he's going to be cool, ask him where he wants to eat. That's a good idea. And as far as Muslim Lantern, yeah, say, hey, dude, don't send me clips. And if he wants to send you a Muslim Lantern clip or something like that, say, hey, why don't we sit down, watch this together, and discuss it? Good way to do it. Good way to do it. And it's good you have a friend because lots of this stuff will take a long time. You're talking, decades of indoctrination and so on. That can take a good amount of time to get through the mess, and it's really good if you get to see him over and over again. So you're in a good spot, man. You're in a good spot. And I would even, if you're good friends with your Muslim buddy there, I would just say, because this is what Nabil and I concluded very early on, you might want to bring this up to your Muslim friends. Say, hey, there are three possibilities here. Either I'm right and you're wrong, or you're right and I'm wrong, or we're both wrong. We can't both be right. So we might want to take this seriously as a possibility that maybe God brought us together so that the one who's right can show the one who's wrong the truth. And so maybe we need to take this as an obligation. We have an obligation before God that we are going to sift through this stuff and make sure that we're both on the same page. Let's see. What do we have here? I would recommend an Islamic dilemma book by David Wood if there were one that is more than 3/4 done. I've got multiple books that are partly done. Hey, gang, Jai, when will we see you debate?
You could see me debate. I don't have formal debates, but I have debates.
Mm-hmm. Hey, we can. Hey, anytime Cora's ready, we can have Cora versus Jai round 2 because she got baked the first time.
She'll
Is
never
Cora
do it.
still around? Is she still around? I thought that she got canceled or something.
I think she's fighting for a spot.
Oh, okay.
To keep it going.
Hey, yeah, Cora, you're not under Malik's thumb anymore, so you're free. Yes, you can join us for a debate with Jai. Mm-hmm. Same topic as before, but you know more now, hopefully.
Or if you only debate females, just he has a wife, DOC.
We got you there too. Yeah,
they got you there.
Yep.
Miss, if you want, go ahead.
No,
I was just
go
going to say, if you don't want anybody who knows Arabic, my wife, she's welcome to talk to you. She doesn't even know a lick of Arabic. So better chance there.
The door's wide open, Cora. The doors are wide open now. Like Muhammad on the night of all Muswak in bum caused pregnancy of a rat rabbit. Ibn Kathir. Yeah, we know that story. Yeah, Muhammad and the was it a rat rabbit? What fish? Rat rabbit fish? What was it?
Yeah, something like that, or frog or some kind of.
Yeah, guys, if you don't know, so this guy took Muhammad's toothbrush and mocked it by sticking it up his butt, and then he got pregnant with a rat rabbit fish baby. So anyway, just don't do that with Muhammad's toothbrush.
Only in Islam.
Avery, by eating it, Wingstop is following the Sunnah. Sahih al-Bukhari 55:7. Is that the one that says Muhammad ate chicken? It's just the whole hadith that says Muhammad ate chicken. The Prophet ate chicken. It's like, what? Where can we see the debate Issa had today?
Yeah, debate.
I didn't have a debate.
You said you had a debate.
I think I talked about. Oh, that was a debate in real life. Like I was a person who was at my house, and we were debating about is the Bible corrupted or not, and he said he made a huge argument about how the Bible is corrupted, and I'm like, yeah, no, that's just it doesn't work that way. And I said, if you say this is my big problem. If you say the Bible is corrupted, that means God is flawed. Like I think it's a huge. You're attacking God when you say that.
Yep.
If you're saying there's a consistency here, you're saying God is either wicked, is a deceiver, or God is weak. That's really the only two choices you have. You can't say, well, God planned to just mess everything up. I mean, that just makes absolutely no sense. And I think anybody with a lick of sense would not buy that. So But he was very strong about that. And he's like, well, the Quran is the only text ever preserved. And I'm like, have you looked at every religious text to make that argument?
No, but that's what I heard. That's what I heard from my sheikhs and imams all my life, and they would definitely never lie to me over and over and over again like it's a sport.
And he's like, the Bible has not been perfectly preserved. I'm like, do you know about the texts that were found? What is it, like the Nag Hammadi texts? Do you know about these texts that have existed and the preservation and the Sefer Torah? Like, do you not know about this? Like the Greek manuscripts, do you not know about these things? And he's like, and then people are like, well, it's King James and the New Standard Version, and I'm like, yeah, well, that's like Marmaduke Pickthall, Muhammad Assad. It's the same thing. It's a translation. Okay, the Quran has that too. Do you not know that there are multiple translations? It's like people don't know that.
Nope.
They don't know that that's the equivalency. It's not. I don't know. It blows my mind.
It's pretty
I'm at a
sad.
loss of words.
Pretty sad. And then we've got, so according to Korah, it was actually Allah debating Uthman. Yeah, because Korah described Elijah perfectly when she was describing Allah. So it was actually Allah debating Uthman and not Elijah. Also, Avery, do you think D. Wood can debunk Shake It Off's dawah?
Nah, Shake It Off is tough. He's a tough opponent. He uses visual skills, visual things, whiteboards. He's tough. He's the toughest opponent I ever had. So
It is pretty tough. It is pretty tough. But you've got these dawah conflicts, and might eventually need to have the showdown with Sheikh Yabudi and Imam al-Sofat. Imam al-Sofat is the greatest imam. And last one here. Thank you, Dr. David Wood, Jai, Avery, and chat. And this is from some weirdo named Issa Kabeer. All right. Good times. Good times. All right, guys. Any final thoughts before we head out? I said any final thoughts before we head out?
Thank
no one's
you.
got it? All right. We got thank you.
Don't
and,
ask Jai about Islamic apologetic books.
Yeah, because he done what books?
Just
What's a book?
Watch videos. Hey, look at my bookshelves. You see, they're like empty. I mean, they're just for show. They're just for show.
I do have a thought. I would love to see Jai debate Sheikh Uthman, because the Sheikh Uthman would not get away with like the Arabic stuff. I would have loved to see that.
Oh yeah, no, it's really funny watching DOC respond because she makes fun of their Arabic and stuff, and like, dude, you left out an entire syllable there. You don't even know how to speak, and it enrages them. Pretty funny. Good time. Yeah, I mean, you gotta, sucks for Sheikh Uthman. He got totally embarrassed last year and leading into this year. Was acting like he wanted to debate, and everyone was running from him. Avery kept tracking him down, hunting him down, the Dawah hunter. And it was so embarrassing that it actually forced Sheikh Uthman to try to save face, regain some territory, regain some credibility. So he realized, I have to go in there, do a big debate. What did he do? He picks the prompts. He makes it so that he gets to add fact-check notes. He insists upon all this, apparently. He has it so that he gets to come back the next day and record conclusions and pretending that everyone's still in the room and stuff. They, bent over backwards, so not in the Zoot sense. They bent over backwards to give him everything he could possibly want so that he could have every advantage, and he got crushed by everyone. He got crushed by everyone. Nowhere to go after that.
For me, it was fun. I walked him down, guys. I walked him down. Got him to say some crazy things. You could still be a Muslim and commit shirk. You can identify your wife as the first and the last, unqualified. Things can share the names of Allah. I walked him down. And mine wasn't even near the worst part of that day for him. Elijah coming in, destroying him in 10 minutes, walking out, hitting just the walk off. You have Vocab who came and absolutely dismantled him, fact-checked him live during the discussion. Like, what? The Bruce Almighty point? Oh, my gosh. You claim to be God. You claim to be the Almighty. You're not
That's
claiming to be.
Almighty Bruce. Almighty Bruce.
Almighty Bruce. Peace be upon him. It was tough. It was a decimating experience, and it was. I just thank God that he was glorified.
That was bad. That was really, really bad for Dawa. It was awesome with Vocab coming at the end, because I was like, gosh, did Vocab just like learn ahead of time what text he likes to go to and have those ready? And he's like, no, he's quoting. He's like, I was one of the last people to go. So as he's quoting, I'm downloading them on Logos and stuff and, and looking up the passages.
That's crazy. He was downloading the book in real time.
In real time.
Highlighting them.
Yeah, so so after Sheikh Uthman just gets cooked over and over again on arguments, like the only points that are still hanging are, I gave a source that said this, I gave a source that said that, and then Vocab comes along and shows none of those sources say what you're claiming, which means you're either completely deceptive, you're deliberately misrepresenting them, or you're barely literate, like your prophet. And nowhere to go after that. All right, last one.
Oh, by the way, Avery mentioned the first and last, so it reminded me, people said they want to see me debate. Check out my last video. We had some Jehovah's Witnesses come by, and we recorded the discussion. First and last came up there, so if you guys want to see some debate, you could check that out. It's like 15 minutes or so of debates with Jehovah's Witnesses.
There you go. There you go. And hey, Good Night here has a good question here, and you came to the right place, because I'll give you a good answer. He says, I want to share Nabil's story with my Muslim friend, but I'm scared he'll say God let him die of cancer because he left Islam and chose the wrong path. How should I respond? I understand, but can he? Yes, absolutely. And this is a situation where you can actually prepare for that ahead of time. So what you would do here is you can share Nabil's story, and then if your friend ever raises the objection, well, why'd he die? Why'd he die of cancer? Why'd he die of cancer? Isn't that God punishing him for leaving Islam? All kinds of things you can point out there. If God wanted to punish him for leaving Islam, why did he let him go around preaching around the world and put out multiple books so that he's still having an impact right now? Could have just destroyed him right after he left Islam. But apart from all that, if he wants to say, hey, someone dying like this or something, that's evidence that God is punishing him, look up a video titled Who Killed Muhammad? And be ready with those sources, because here's what you have. In the Quran, Surah 69, verses 44 to 46, Allah says that if Muhammad were to fabricate revelations, Allah would sever his aorta, Why is that relevant? We got all these hadiths where Muhammad, after being poisoned, died an agonizing death, saying that he could feel his aorta being severed. And so, why would Muhammad die in exactly the way Allah said he would die, unless Allah's punishing him according to what he said? And the point here is, a Muslim can reject that and say, hey, but what would you be rejecting? You'd be saying someone can be a totally righteous servant of God and still die a horrible, agonizing death. Okay, well, if you're granting that with Muhammad, you can't be In other words, the kings of cherry pickers, they can't be cherry picking like this. Like, oh, this guy died a agonizing death or something like this, or a really crazy death, and it's fine. It's fine because he's on my side. But if someone who's outside my religion dies a painful death or something like that, that's Allah's punishment. Yeah, I'd point that out. You can't go like that. What's up, Issa?
One thing I would add to that is, so in Islam, Hamza, who is the uncle of the Prophet of Islam, gets his heart and liver eaten. Like, so was he an evil, bad person based on that, according to that standard? And also, you could say, if you're using the Christian standard, pretty much most of the apostles had very difficult situations. Some of them were crucified. Like, one was crucified upside down. Like, it's not pleasant stuff. What happens to the apostle Matthew, like in the the other, like the narratives of like the church fathers, like it's not a pleasant, being on the path of God doesn't mean you're going to have a pleasant, easy life. Sometimes you're going to suffer. Sometimes you're going to have difficulties. So I don't think that's the standard. And I'm like, especially if you believe in the Islamic standard and you're, let's say, the standard Sunni narrative, the Muslims had to leave Mecca and go to Medina and Khadijah dies in Mecca because of starvation, like because of like the burdens of the boycott that they face. So I'm like, that doesn't even make sense according to the standard that they're coming from. So
Yep. So, yeah, good night. That it's basically it's a common tendency for people to say, "Oh, this person, died in this way. See, that's God's this person got sick. You see, that's God's punishment and so on." But it's pretty easy to call. It's pretty easy to call out. All right, guys.
Oh, wait, one more thing on that. Adding on to how Muhammad died, if you look at the history of the Mubahala, the original one, not the one where Muslims are all doing it online. Mubahala, bro, let's do Mubahala.
Do you
the
even
original
Mubahala, bro?
Yeah, the original one when Muhammad was challenging the Christians of Najran to do Mubahala with him, and is basically saying like, hey, you guys are saying Christianity is the truth, I'm saying Islam is the truth. Let's curse each other. Like, I'll curse myself and my family, and you curse yourselves and your family. And they're like, Christians. So as Christians, we're commanded to bless, not to curse. So you could, and technically it didn't actually happen, but Muhammad was willing to do that. What's interesting about this, though, is that if you look at the books, Ibn Hajar has a book, and he explains that usually, I don't know how he determined this, but in order to see like the effect of the mubahala, like it's not just like 10 years later this person said, oh, if I'm lying, may Allah cast me down and kill me. It's like, well, 10 years later, let's say the guy dies. He says usually it happens within a year. Usually it happens within 1 year. So if you look at the history, Ibn al-Jawzi, al-Tabari, al-Dhahabi, they all said that this mubahala was in the year 631, 1 year before Muhammad died. So he wanted to do this mubahala, and Hajar says it happens within 1 year. He just so happened to die, and not just him, kind of like what Issa was alluding to, like Muhammad's almost like his entire family was like slaughtered in terrible ways. The ones who were participating in this or was willing to participate in this. So that's another argument to show like, okay, well, Muhammad died the death that someone would die if they were cursed by Allah, according to the the mubahala. Plus, on top of that, the aorta thing, which just adds. So these two arguments, they work together to show that Muhammad died a death that a false prophet would die, and that someone who was cursed by Allah would die. So actually cursed by Allah, yeah.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, if you're going to make that sort of thing your standard, then you got to stick with it. If you're not going to apply that standard to Muhammad and his family and various companions and so on, and all kinds of Muslims that people are posting Ahmed D. and so on in the chat. If you're not going to apply it consistently, probably not good to bring it up. Anyway, the point there was, if you think, hey, I'm not sure about bringing this up because they might raise that objection, well, think about how raising that objection, if they raise up that objection, how you'd respond. So, not a problem. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. As far as I know, I think I'll be on tomorrow night with Anthony Rogers and Tony Costa. We're going to check out the Jay Dyer debate. Jay Dyer. Anyway, the title was something like Jay Dyer versus 5 Protestants / Catholics or something like that. So I don't know how many Protestants, how many Catholics there were. But Jay Dyer had a debate, so we're going to check some of that out. And last one here. Christians are promised eternal life, not a good life. Yeah, you're not promised a pain-free, easy life. That is true. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Catch y'all next time. And be sure, if you haven't already, to subscribe to Elijah Johnson Apologetics. Link is in the description box.